In this lecture, you are going to learn about special properties. This is a two-part lecture. In the first part, we will discuss about the properties such as ease, repeat, yo-yo, and delay. In the next part, we will discuss about the staggering and the lazy property. First, let us remove everything inside the container div and go to index.js and clear up everything from here. Now go back to index.html and inside the container div, add the div with box class. Since we already added the style for the box in one of the previous lecture, we don't need to redo it again. If you accidentally removed it from the folder, don't worry, I have the style.css in the resource section of this lecture. Go to index.js. Let us select the box class and store it in box variable. And in the to method, we are adding the box and setting its duration to 1. And we want to move the object 200 pixels away from its initial position. The repeat property will determine how many times the animation should repeat. One thing to be noted here is that it's zero indexed, meaning if you put 1, the animation will be repeated 2 times, starting from 0, and if you put 2, it will be repeated 3 times. Next is the yo-yo property. If you set it to true, every other repeat iteration will run in the opposite direction, so that the tween appears to go back and forth. Each movement will be considered as a step. Again, one thing to be noted here is that the yo-yo will work only if there is a cycle in the animation. If you want to have an infinite loop of animation, just set -1 to the repeat property. Next is the delay property. This is in seconds, so if you put 1, the animation will be delayed by 1 second. The Oncomplete property will be triggered at the end of the animation. In this example, we want alert to be displayed at the end of the animation. Here we have a problem. Look at this -1 here. This means the animation cycle will have no end. Hence, the Oncomplete property won't trigger. The condition for Oncomplete property is that the animation must be finite. It should have an end. So for now, we are setting 2 for the repeat property. This will repeat only 3 times and then the Oncomplete property will be fired. One of the limitations of the split screen server is that it won't show an alert. So in order to see it in action, let us copy the link from the split screen server's URL and paste it in the browser. Here I am using Google Chrome. As you can see, it is working as expected. The Oncomplete property was fired after the 3rd step. Now let us talk about the ease property. This is one of the cool properties of GSAP. This will take your web animation to the next level, and this will provide you a smooth transition between keyframes according to your wish. Here are some of the examples. If you go to the website greensock.com/ease visualizer/, you can find a list of values that can be used for an animation. As you can see in this interface, there is a graph and a bunch of functions on the right side of it. Let us play with these functions. First one is none or linear. This will provide a normal transition between the keyframes, meaning a constant rate of change. The next 4 values are called power values. These have accelerating or decelerating effect on the animation. The higher the number, the more pronounced the effect. An in-easing function starts the animation slowly and accelerates towards the end, creating a sense of build-up and momentum. An out-easing function starts the animation quickly and decelerates towards the end, creating a sense of release or resolution. An in-out easing function starts like in and ends up like out. So it's a combination or a splice of both. Back easing functions create an overshooting effect at the beginning or end of the animation. Elastic easing function create a bouncing or rubber band effect. Bounce easing functions simulate the motion of bouncing ball and create a similar effect in the animation. Rough easing function. This will make the animation move inordinately. Slow easing function gives a feeling of slowing at the middle of the keyframes. Steps easing function creates a frame skip effect. Circ easing functions create a circular motion in the animation. Expo easing functions create an exponential effect in the animation. Sine easing functions create a smooth sinusoidal effect on the animation. Finally, we have a custom option to create our own. Here you can simply set the graph and copy the ease function and paste it in your code. At the end of this lecture, I'll show you how you can create your own easing function. Coming back to the code, remove the delay and oncomplete properties from the method and add ease property. Here, I'm only adding power4.in. You can pick an ease function of your choice, and I highly recommend you to do so as we heavily use different ease functions for our upcoming project. So by that time, you will be familiar with these functions. Here you can see that power4.in was successfully applied to the animation. Now it's time for creating our own ease function. You may wonder how I found the formula for custom ease function. Well, it's only a matter of research. I went to Stack Overflow and searched for one and I found this. So in this example, I'm using the parametric function. Just follow along with me in writing this code. Always remember to pass an object as parameter in our custom ease function. GSAP uses this parameter to calculate the modified progress value that is then used in the animation. In our case, we are calling it as progress. And finally add this to our ease property. As you can see, this creates a parametric easing function to our animation. And that's it.